Hello everyone and welcome back. I've missed you almost as much as you've undoubtedly missed me. They say time apart does good for a relationship. I think I disagree. A lot of time gone. A lot of opportunities wasted. The dull glaze of entropy slowly embalming our cognitive processors, convening and intersecting bypasses in a figurative slippery slope and sloppy slippers. In short, people get lost easy. They get stuck sometimes. It's human. Never fear, the fox is here to help you persevere. And with my new camera, it'll be as if the last one never magically disappeared shortly after recording the last episode. We have all the time in the world. I've been thinking a lot these past few months. About many things, many times, an uncomfortable amount of time. So I figure you kind people will enjoy the stimulation of your mental faculties that accompany a good brain wrinkling. Come here and let me rub your brain. 3 things.
Then shalt thou count to 3.
That feels like a good number.
3 shall be the number thou shalt count.
The first thing I want to shine a light on is flashing colors. No, not the neon luminescence shimmering down on you in the club that makes you want to dance. This is not an epileptic PSA. Although I do believe they are wildly unaccommodated for. That's not the type of moving and shaking that we want on the dance floor. Something must be done. The flickering hues in question are the metaphorical ones that we continue to throw upon each other. I've encountered a growing amount of social hostility within my own circles, as well as being an outsider on those of others. It grabs us by the short hairs and throws us about like a ship caught in the deep blue sea. Arr, crashing into us and pulling us under. We should all be mindful of each other's journey. That being said, I've witnessed a surprising amount of people drawing cannons on each other, screaming obscenities and testaments to the cruelty of the sea as they fire wildly. With such crowded waters, collateral damage is imminent. When you're at work, for example, and a customer comes in with that blank Uno card that they wrote in, pick up the deck and stuff it in your dumb mouth attitude, and you aren't even playing Uno. Or maybe you've been stressed out by life, as we all get, and overreacted. Saw red, said or did something regretful, and now you have that weight to carry. Unless you deal with it, you will continue on, likely to repeat the transgression. Anger has a way of bleeding and repeating. Of course, it's not just out loud actions or reactions too. Sometimes it's subliminal, the quiet ones. It's the way people say things. Did you remember that? Versus, did you forget that again? You seem stressed out. Versus, you always do this. Well, I guess we'll just eat off the floor then. Do you hear anything I say, or am I just talking to myself? Because it feels like I am. I'll just eat off the floor, get sick, and die. Maybe you'll be happy then, won't you? You see? They're subtle, but different. They all share one thing in common at least. The latter of each pair heats up the conversation. Generally a side effect of repressed aggression. Instead of addressing the issue and learning to cope, we flash each other warning signs like peacocks on speed. Fun fact, peacocks can shake their tail feathers 26 times per second. That's 1,560 times per minute. For a frame of reference, most machine guns shoot 600 to 1,500 rounds per minute. Think about it. Instead of heating up the conversation, another way to respond inappropriately is to go the other direction. Have you ever tried talking to someone only to receive an icy blast so frigid you had to fight the urge to painfully howl off and cut them open like a tauntaun to climb inside and preserve body heat? As potentially comforting as that may be, we have to fight that impulse. I call it snowforting because I like to give fun names to potentially dangerous ideas. Also because Fortress of Solitude sounds solemn and foreboding. Snowforting sounds childish and petty, which it is, in theory and in practice. Don't get me wrong, some people and situations are not worth your energy at the time of interaction, or lack thereof. Unhealthy patterns of behavior and environment should be avoided, but you should not give off such callous response to any stimulus you receive. Don't run away so fast. It's okay to connect. If you routinely apply isolation as a manipulative tactic, you are worse than most Disney villains. Even Scar had the decency to respond when someone spoke to him, when he clearly didn't want to.
Your back on me, Scar.
Oh no, Mufasa. Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me.
And we all remember what he did. So before you go full Ice Queen, you might want to try to let it go. Now, as you may have noticed, I like to lead up to things. Who doesn't love a good climax? Here's the big reveal. Both of our previous topics are symptoms of a much larger issue. Fear of judgment. The head of the serpent, See, I wasn't just crazy and rambling on. It's not the only culprit, but it's a big one. People who feel oppressed by judgment, or those who even fear the potential of judgment, flash little warning signs of rage and sorrow. Some will strike you for having the opportunity to judge them, and how dare you. Others will flee from it entirely, withdraw so it doesn't hurt, knuckle under. They've already made up their decisions anyway, right? Those things that I mentioned that resonated with you are today's targets. If you hear anything out of this and carry it forward, please let it be that judgment is not condemnation. They're different words for a reason. The primary definition is the ability to come to considered decisions or sensible conclusions. Let's be real here, we judge every day. From the way we look at ourselves, the world around us, and that laundry basket full of clean clothes you still haven't put away. That's right. I'm calling you out. You have been judged. Even still, those are opinions, not absolution. Allowing something trivial to depict your attitude and outlook is like having a home made out of fine oak and then having Tom come over and chastise you, saying, "This house is dumb. Homes should be made out of mud like mine. You should tear this ugly thing down." And then tearing it down without even a second thought. That's ridiculous. First off, Tom, I like my house, you like yours, and no one should disparage each other for decisions that they make, especially if they don't affect another person. Second, Tom, you spiteful, insecure little mole, why don't you scamper back to the Shire where I might not complain about your abhorrent stench? Live out the rest of your lives in that miserable hole since you already dug your own grave anyway. I'll see you during flood season. You troglodyte. What I'm saying is we do not need to live out our lives in fear, especially if we're not criminals, because that is the environment that creates criminals. Do not misinterpret this as an attack on judges either. They are necessary to the structure of our justice system, which I still believe holds significant value, even if it could still do with a little reconstruction here and there. I am assaulting unnecessary persecution and the tyranny that it brings. Even if you're prosecuted, there's still time to make things right. Everyone gets a shot at a redemption arc if you haven't gone too far. So, I propose that when we come have these little chats, that we engage ourselves in fun exercises to alleviate some of the stress brought on from the judgy eyes of our peers. I suggest we lay everything out on the table and use my favorite weapon, humor, to make a logical ruling on things. A sort of trial by comedy, if you will, where we can disarm problems and proudly declare our decisions together with a hearty laugh. So, if you don't mind, I would like to take this time to proudly proclaim, by the power we have invested in comedy, I find judgment to be like water. If you're using it to survive and help people, cool. If you're using it to clean yourself or clear something up, that's fine. If you are holding it over people or using it to manipulate them selfishly, then you are a fecal breathing garbage troll. Properly utilized, judgment strengthens and promotes growth. Don't use it to drown people. And remember, these are not the questions we want answers to. These are your answers that I want you to question. Hey guys, I know we are amidst a pandemic and we are battling the corona scourge globally. Stay-at-home orders are essentially commonplace. This makes it difficult to connect. I'm not going to lecture you on cleanliness or social distancing, even though I absolutely acknowledge its validity. There are ways to avoid total isolation thanks to technology. I mean, we're connected right now, right? I strongly urge all of you to utilize it. Reach out to your family members. Give them a call. I know, phone calls are the worst thing ever, but you can deal with that agony for just a little bit, and it'll mean the world to them. And hey mom, I know you're watching this too. Just wanted to give you a shout out of appreciation. I love you all. Reach out, guys. Be smart. Be safe. United we stand.